It's mid-October and the autumn equinox feels like a very long time ago. And at that time, the days and the nights are the same length. But of course, since then, the nights have been drawing in. So this time of year feels appropriate to take stock and review some of the creative projects that were started earlier in the year and either bring them to a conclusion, put them on the back burner again, or maybe just decide that they were never meant to be. If you're new here, my name is Becca and I'm a hand spinner, knitter and newbie weaver, and you're very welcome to my local woodland in Pembrokeshire, West Wales. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you where we are. So we have a very spooked dog because there are all sorts of creatures making noises and it's getting towards dusk. But we are just in the woods, not very far from home, and enjoying all the delights that autumn has to offer in West Wales. So here we are, back in the slightly echoey conservatory. I don't know whether you're going to be able to hear the rain on the roof, and well, it's actually, you can hear, probably you might be able to hear it in the windows because it's being a little bit horizontal today. That does happen when you live on the coast. You kind of get horizontal rain, and that's what's happening today. Anyway, right, what did I want to talk about today? I really want to talk about the idea of working seasonally. Now, in my business, my stationery business, I am always working 2 seasons ahead. So although I'm recording this in middle of October, I'm now starting to think about spring and spring illustrations, despite the fact, we're still in autumn. But in our making, in our spinning and our knitting or our weaving, I think it's quite good to work seasonally as well, because we need quite a long time to actually be working on, maybe if we're going to make garments that we're going to wear 2 seasons down the road, particularly if you are preparing your own fibre, you're spinning it, you're then either weaving or knitting or crocheting or whatever your particular favourite is. So I have written myself a little list on my notebook, and I'm thinking about projects that I really want to finish off, things I want to get over the finish line because maybe I've been working on them for quite a long time, things that I really want to learn in the next few months, and some things I'm going to say goodbye to because they're just not working out for me. And the other thing I want to think about is things that maybe have been on the back burner for a few months that I want to bring forward and maybe start again. The first project I'm going to think about is my socks. So slightly second sock syndrome going on. I have cast on the second sock to this, and don't look too closely at this sock because I made quite a big mistake, and we're just going to pretend that's not there. When I was doing the heel turn, I did a bit of a mistake, but we won't worry about that. So yeah, I do like to say always be knitting socks. Well, yes, I kind of have always been knitting socks for months and months and months, but I haven't actually got very far. So this has taken me months to finish this sock. And then I cast on for this next sock and it's just been sitting there. So that's a project I really want to kind of get over the finish line so I can start on another pair, because this actual yarn that I spun for this, I spun this ages ago. It is on the channel somewhere, I think. And since I spun that, I've sort of decided I want to go back and use 3-ply rather than 2-ply, because I'd been sort of saying again, when I started the channel, I was saying, I'm knitting socks with 2-ply. I don't think I want to be knitting socks with 3-ply. Kind of changed my mind a bit about that. So my next lot of sock yarn, I want to be 3-ply, but I do need to kind of knit some of this 2-ply stuff that I have in the stash before I kind of get on to that. I say, yeah, I'm not going to stick to that, am I? Anyway, yeah, so second sock needs to be started and finished. So the other thing I want to finish off is these, and a couple of videos ago, I was talking about spinning just for joy, and I made a yarn out of these, and I enjoyed it so much, I went back and I did some more rolags. I've spun the single, I spun one single, these are for the second single, so I want to finish that yarn, and I'm just in love with these colours. These are just so fabulous. So that's something I want to finish off. Then the other thing I want to finish off is down here, and this is a table runner, and I took it off the loom quite a while ago, but I haven't actually, I've still got some ends I need to weave in, and I just need to give it a wash just to kind of set it a little bit. But I am loving weaving, I really am. And I mean, this is very random. I just used lots of ends, and it is a table runner. But I'm getting to the point where I've got 3 table runners now. I think I probably don't need any more. So I'm going to actually change it up a little bit and be a little bit more intentional rather than just using random bits and pieces, for which I have, not got the book. I'll go and get the book. So I have my book. I do love a book, as you well know. So this is glasses on, Woven Style for the 15-inch rigid Heddle loom. It's by Tamara Poof, and it's basically garments. And I thought, I think I'm ready to actually try making a garment rather than just kind of endless table runners, because there are just only so many table runners you need in your life. And although I toyed with the idea that maybe it was something I could sell, really no. I'd have many things going on in my life. I don't need to start another business. So yeah, looking forward to choosing a project and actually weaving that on the rigid Heddle loom. I, of course, will share my progress. So with the weaving, I've got to the point where I am quite comfortable warping up with a direct warp. Hem stitch, I do still need to have a look at the diagram just to make sure I'm doing it right, but it's getting there. So I'm still only doing plain weave. So I think there are a few things I need to kind of progress. So doing something other than plain weave, that would be good. And indirect warping, I think that would be a good thing to learn, and actually really get the hem stitch kind of down pat. So that's on the list of things I want to sort of get done in this next coming couple of seasons, so sort of autumn into winter. So down here I have my box of fibre from World of Wool, and let me just open this up. I have started spinning, because I bought this a little while ago, and I have started spinning some of the things. So the alpaca I've started, and I'm going to do some more blended alpaca at some point. Then the other thing, so I've got, what have I got here? I've got, right, yes. So the Himalayan nettle, glasses. Himalayan nettle fibre top. That I really want to kind of take from the kind of, I'm going to do it in the future, to something I'm going to do over the next few months. And then when the season is right, I want to harvest some nettles, but I'm not harvesting fresh nettles, because I'm going to try what's called root retting, which is where you leave the nettle in place until the winter when it dies back, and you cut off the old stems and use that to make fibre. Again, I have a book. I will link it in the description, and did actually pay full price for this one, as the other books I'm talking about, they were secondhand, but this one was, I think it's published by a lady in Scotland, and it doesn't just tell you about the winter root retting, or yeah, I think that's what it's called. It tells you how to kind of do the other preparations as well. And she's writing it from a perspective of somebody who lives in Scotland, so her climate is going to be a little bit different from mine, in that she's probably quite a lot colder, because we are in quite a kind of warm part. We're on the coast, we're in Pembrokeshire, which is the warmest part of Wales, so it'll be a bit different, but close enough that I think I can work from that. So yeah, looking forward to having a go at that. So the nettle definitely falls into the learning something new category. I mean, I really have not spun any plant fibre since I first learnt to spin, when I just tried everything. And I very much decided, no, wool was going to be my thing. And it's what I've spun for nearly 20 years. So I am looking forward to spinning something a bit different. And I'm also looking forward to sharing that experience with you. So the next group of projects definitely fall into the bringing back off the back burner. And probably, I think April is the last time maybe it was a bit later than April. Anyway, months ago, I was spinning all 27 rare breeds of sheep in the UK. And various things happened that kind of took me off track, and kind of it very much went on the back burner. Time to bring it forward again. So I have two more, and this is the Bolwyn. This is a Welsh mountain breed, and it's this very dark brown, really lovely, lovely, lovely. I mean, as you would expect with a Welsh mountain, probably not going to want to wear it next to the skin, but definitely something I want to weave with. So that is kind of, I think that might be the next spinning video. I think it might be, because I'm desperate to get back to that project, because it was my long-term project. Originally, I thought it was going to take me 6 months. Don't know why I thought that was going to happen. Then I thought, oh, it'll be a year. It's going to be much longer. It's just going to be as and when. I also have somewhere, not here, I thought I had it there, not there. I also have a Lincoln long wool, which is another one of the rare breeds that I want to spin. And that brings me on to something new that has come into my spinning life. So I was going to do an unboxing, and then I couldn't kind of wait, so I just did it without filming it. Da-da-da! Wool combs, and so wool combs. I've really enjoyed working with the long wools, so I decided that I would actually buy myself a set of wool combs. So that brings me to, what am I going to let go of? Well, a little while ago, I had this brilliant idea that I was going to write knitting patterns specifically for handspun yarn. I love designing, design work is what I do in my day job. And I thought, yes, I'll do that. I'm good at maths, I'm good at designing, I'll be able to do that. Oh, yeah, no. Bored to tears with it. So I really thought it would be such a great thing to include in the newsletter, to maybe offer as a download. I thought, yeah, this is the thing. This will be my thing. No, this is not my thing. I have literally done about that much of a design that has then been sat on my notepad for months. I need to say goodbye to that, and I need to not feel guilty about it, and say, if you are someone that likes spinning and knitting with handspun yarn, I think there is a market for knitting patterns that are specifically designed for handspun yarn. So please take the idea and run with it, because I most definitely am not going to. Something that's on the back burner is the dye garden, and I've got wode and weld or dyer's rocket, germinated and in little pots. They're going to overwinter and then be planted out in the spring. So really there's just nothing to do with those for the next few months, but just kind of fingers crossed that they get through the winter. I mean, they should do, they're hardy, and as I've said many times before, we just really don't get frost around here. So I'd love to know what you are working on currently, what you want to finish off, if there's something you want to learn over the autumn and winter. I do know that obviously if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, then everything is reversed, so you're going into a very different set of seasons, but it still applies. You know, there might be something that you want to say goodbye to and something that you want to say hello to, either again or for the first time. I love to know what you're working on, so please do leave a comment below. So my plans for the channel, I want to try and go back to 2 videos a week. Fingers crossed I can do that. I mean, I find it really difficult in the summer because, you know, I've got beekeeping to do, the gardening got to be done, and so it goes by the wayside. I'd quite like to do one vlog style video a week and one that's more of the kind of fibre arts, spin along how to, what I'm working on in the fibre art studio. It's not the fibre art studio, it's my conservatory. It's the kind of do everything, dining room, sitting room, craft room. Yeah, you know, you've got one of those rooms, I know you have. Anyway, so that's what I'd like to try and do. It doesn't always happen because, you know, life happens and I don't always get to it. I really enjoyed sharing the last video, which was the tour of Picton Castle Gardens. And again, I know it's not fibre arts, but sometimes I just kind of have to go off on a tangent. So thank you for the lovely comments on that one, for the people that watched it. I really appreciate that you kind of show up and kind of watch the stuff that's not strictly speaking fibre arts. So those are my making plans for the next few months. I'm really looking forward to sharing all my fibre arts adventures. I'm also looking forward to sharing some more of the vlog style videos. I am desperate to show you how to make sloe gin. I don't know why I'm so excited about doing it, but anyway, I really want to show you how to make sloe gin, and that most definitely is not fibre arts. So I'm going to try and have one fibre arts video, one that's something else. And I was trying to do that up until, well, kind of middle of the summer really. But the summer's a really busy time of the year for me because I've got the bees, I've got the garden, we have visitors, and so it kind of all went a little bit by the wayside. Anyway, I will see you in the next video for some spinning.